American Big Brother features a lot of personalities. Some become known for their competition prowess, others impress with their social strategy in play. Few manage to become no less than icons based on their names alone. Even though it's not 4th of July, I don't care, let's make it extra American. Let's take a look at a different kind of player, one who wasn't afraid to play independently and show the true American way to play. America Lopez was a 27-year-old living in New York and on my profile picture on Discord. America presented herself as a superfan first. As a second-generation immigrant, winning would be important to her, both as a symbolic nod to the country she got her name from, and as a gift to a long-time fan of the show. America displayed lots of excitement towards Big Brother by watching the previous 23 seasons of the show and following it very closely, which honestly, who has time for that? But for America, it was more than just a show where people moved in together for 100 days and voted each other out. Big Brother 25 was a chance for an unforgettable summer vacation, new relationships to form, a great 3-month period to spend showing how she can be both laid back and fun, but still strategic in her own way. It's no wonder that when America was announced as part of the roster, she made such a great first impression on the fans. And also some people thought she wasn't real. Let's take it in and bring this energy into her story. This is a story of how America Lopez did not win Big Brother 25, and honestly this show didn't deserve her, and she's better than it could ever be, and that's how I'm gonna win. America ended up in the first of 4 groups which entered the house summer of 2023. Before she even had the chance to make any first impression, her group was told to gather in the backyard. Each group had a split and enter 4 different competitions. The loser of each would face the threat of eviction from the house. But America is the star of this story, so she slayed and won hers. 4 other people were nominated and some curry guy got pulled into the nether. Like, seriously. While others were dying, America was living, so she focused on meeting her housemates. Notably, one of them, not part of the 16 who entered initially. Siri Fields, a 52-year-old legend from the CBS show Survivor, was... you know what I mean. She was on that show like 6 times and she could have won like 5. The house guests were stunned by her appearance and had no idea how to properly react. One other girl, Izzy, saw her and pulled Jared aside to tell him how excited she was. But America? She was not surprised that basically half the house stuck to Siri like she gave out free candy. And so did Corey, who eventually also found his way into the house and instantly showed himself to be a superfan and asked Siri 34,000 questions about her time on Survivor. The season began pretty well for America. The first head of household competition ended up with Riley winning, which was a great result, as the two had a good connection going on, so it seemed plausible that America would be completely safe for the next few days. Now, most of you watching probably will know the format of the show, but just in case you entered the matrix and forgot, here's a quick reminder. At the beginning of each week, a head of household, also called the HOH, is chosen through a competition. The HOH has to nominate 2 other house guests for eviction. Afterwards, another competition is played, which results in one of the house guests receiving the power of veto. Unless it's Big Brother 6, then there's a chance it won't, but it does anyway. The power of veto, also called the POV, allows the holder to remove any nominated house guest from the block, which forces the HOH to find a replacement nominee. Unless it's season 19, then it doesn't have to, but it does anyway. At the end of the week, everyone, but the nominees and the HOH, cast their votes to evict one of the house guests still on the block. Got it? Great. Now let's disregard part of that because this season week 1 worked a bit differently due to a twist. Remember that random competition at the beginning? The twist of the week was that Riley, as the HOH, could only nominate from the pool of those who had lost that competition. It quickly turned out that Jared became the consensus cool guy everyone wanted around. Corey, on the other hand, used the language of facts and logic on Riley to convince her to keep him safe. The initial nominees ended up being Felicia and Kirsten. That was absolutely fine for America. She was in with a different group, the Family Style Alliance, including the aforementioned Jared, Riley, and Corey, as well as a bunch of other people. However, it felt clear that the house had basically split in 2. Hisam, who wasn't in Family Style, won the power of veto, but thankfully he didn't use it. America did her best to make good relationships but not be the center of focus. Meanwhile, Kirsten kept making herself a bigger target, while Felicia drowned the microphone in the hot tub. At the end of the week, by a vote of 13-0, Kirsten was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote!
I vote to evict Kirsten.
Week 2 came and the new HOH wasn't much of a surprise. It was Hisam. Oh yeah, also Jared went to hell. America didn't really have a relationship with Hisam, but at least it was a better relationship than Corey had with him, because Hisam hated on Corey for no reason. However, the saving grace for them both became the way the Family Style Alliance collapsed on itself as someone gave it away. Okay, it was Cameron. Kinda. He was in that alliance and he was kind of a rat. It was important though that Jared, Corey and America were on the outside of the alliance, while the rest, including Riley, were the core group standing behind it. Hisam's reasoning for putting Riley and Cameron up on the block was pretty straightforward. Riley spearheaded the split of the house and Cameron gave it away. Which, not that true, but Hisam was kind of jealous that he wasn't in the Young Athletic Kids Alliance, despite the fact that his side was playing them like Minesweeper on a 2x2 grid. Hisam granted the nominees a chance to save themselves with the veto, and then took it away like a lollipop from a child by winning it himself. In the meantime, Felicia dropped another microphone.
Again?
Hisam threatened Corey again, this time with making him the replacement nominee, but Corey used the language of facts and logic, and also everyone started clowning Hisam for his behavior and being a case study of HOHitis. America did her part too by using her extensive memory of the history of Big Brother and making it seem like Hisam is putting targets on pretty much anything with the polls. The growing frustrations got Siri to flip pretty much the whole house, meaning that she got the votes to evict Cameron. That was because of, and despite, Hisam wishing for Riley to be evicted, because Cameron is a Hufflepuff and somehow this is relevant now, but then Cameron smiled in Siri's general direction and the flip got recalled. So at the end of the week, by a vote of 12-0, Riley was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote.
I vote to evict Riley.
In a post-Riley world, Felicia won HOH, which felt great after Hisam winning pretty much everything so far, but it was also a great sign for more diverse competition outcomes in the future. Felicia nominated Cameron and Jag. Jag felt like he tried to play the most actively in Family Style, which wasn't a high bar, but also he had tried to replicate Family Style like 5 times so far, and every time the word got out. On the other hand, Matt, another guy from the remnants of Family Style, had a thing for Riley. When she was evicted, he made her a symbol of their love, a shrine of Q-tips, and it got destroyed, and he blamed America. Hisam decided it was time to stop winning, which was exactly too late as pretty much everyone has had enough. Jag won the POV to save himself, for the low cost of having to wear a chicken costume, and Felicia nominated Hisam for eviction, which was supposed to feel like a total betrayal and a told you so moment, but ended up very gloomy and depressing. But as everyone else was dying, America was living! Corey and America started a thing of their own. A showman's you could call it, but if you asked them, they'd probably just call each other a cuddle buddy. America's love for Big Brother translated well to Corey being a notable star himself, as he was the brother of the 17th placer from the 42nd season of Survivor. Big Brother 25 truly had a star-studded cast. Corey and America were declared AmeriCorey by the fandom, and people loved them. I mean, how could you not? Hisam's campaign actually made Siri want to flip the house on Cameron once again. However, Corey used the language of facts and logic, so the flip didn't happen. Also, America and Corey made an alliance with Jag. He seemed to be a capable player, and they could use a tight trio. But as some dreams came true, others had to fall. By a vote of 11-0, Hisam was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote.
I vote to evict Hisam.
The week for HOH competition was notable, especially for America. The classic pressure cooker returned, as the house guests were locked in a dark chamber, each having to press their button until just one of them stayed and won. Also, pretty much nobody knew what it was, but they turned to America to hear her out. America didn't let herself get distracted by loud noises, blinking lights, and fly noises added in post-production because reflies they let in were dormant due to the cold. In the end, there was 3. America, Cameron, and Mimi. Her full name's Nicole. Take it in, cause it's the second to last time you'll ever hear about her. Mimi's gameplay revolved mostly around having strategy sessions alone in the pantry.
The math is not the math thing.
But since nobody knew, America didn't trust her enough. So when Mimi let go of her button, it felt like America was surely gonna be safe. And so the competition was over. America let Cameron win HOH. She wasn't ready to become a power player just yet. She hoped to redirect any bad will onto him and let it stay undetected for longer. It wasn't such a bad decision at the time. Cameron promised not to put her up. Surely this would let America stay undercover for weeks, like notable winners such as Andy and Steve. But Cameron started to get closer to Red. And yes, there were people called Red and Blue on that season.
Kitty kitty boots down is a feeling, it's a form of expression.
Blue was actually cool with America, but Red had that thing where he thought the younger women in the house were using their womanly wiles on the men. Suri, Jared, and Izzy were a pretty tight trio, but it turned out they were actually quite close with Felicia, Mimi, and Bowie Jane. Bowie Jane herself was a curious case. The barista, that's a lawyer in Australian, and DJ basically joined that group and then pretended she's not there, so she was kinda excluded from then on. This group of 6 then created 3 alliances by adding people on the outside. Legend 25 with Cameron and Red, and no, these alliance names are not getting any better, was supposed to have the 2 of them target another group, 7 Deadly Sins, with Jack and Blue, making these 2 out to be the targets. Where's America in this mess? Quite comfortable with Corey in the 3rd alliance, for real, a vital connection to have with how the house split at this point. Now that you do or maybe don't understand this mess, it doesn't really matter. America is safe because she made some useful connections in the house. Cameron nominated Jack and Blue for eviction, and quite poetically, Red won the POV, securing the nominations in place. However, there was also a special power competition that only some house guests were eligible for. America wasn't chosen by the viewers to take part, mostly because she was barely in the episodes due to how good of a job she was doing undercover. On the other hand, Corey played, and he did very well, but not well enough to win. It didn't seem like this eviction was flipped though, as Siri was quite set on Jack leaving. Corey and America were still trying to foster their connection with Jack though, so America tried to convince Jack that 7 Deadly Sins is a fake alliance made to oppose him against Cameron. Jack promptly forgot this information in order to try to create the 97th iteration of Family Style. But as Jack was dying, America was leaving, Blue was getting closer to Jared, so it made sense America would then try to work with Blue. True queen of keeping her options open. So at the end of the week, Jack was evicted by a vote of 10-0.
It's time for America's vote.
I vote to evict Jack.
But wait, before Jack even left the house, a message came. The special power was used to save him. But who used it? Surely not Jack. He looks so sure that he's going. Well, anyway, quickly after the HOH competition took place and Jared became the winner. Hoping to make use of her connections with Corey and Blue, America felt quite good about Jared. Jack not leaving was even better. America was once again covered on many sides. Evidently, since Jared nominated Cameron and Red for eviction. Hoping to build trust, Corey revealed to some, including America, his brother was a contestant on
Survivor.
Zach Wattenberger, a 20-year-old from Missouri, yeah, whatever. America felt great about it, but also started feeling a little pressure. They were in the showmans and America didn't want it to ruin Corey's game. Well, don't worry America, someone else got you covered. Jared took this information very badly. That guy had some issue, don't know why. It was almost like he had a secret of his own that he told Blue and she did absolutely nothing with it. Talking about Blue, after Cameron won POV, another target was needed. Blue suggested the most obvious answer. Her closest ally Jack, because I guess she felt like it, I don't know. Even worse, Red started distancing himself from Cameron due to gossip. The whole orbital system of house guests around Siri decided it'd be better to keep him over Jack, so there's someone to target Cameron again. For days, Cameron's attempts at repairing his relationship with Red looked like if we had Brokeback Mountain at home. Once again, Jack was dead on arrival as soon as the eviction vote was to come. But then, Red had a change of heart on his birthday week, which caused such an ordeal that pretty much everyone and no one was ready to flip their votes at any point. It's important to note though, that some of these plans were to leave America out of the vote. Perhaps it was the fact that America wanted to target Siri, Izzy and Jared due to how they were the central powers of the house, and maybe possibly they found out. Ultimately, the fault for the flip on Red landed on Felicia, just because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. For his birthday, by a vote of 8-2, Red was voted out, and also no one told Bowie Jane about it.
It's time for America's vote.
I vote to evict Red.
Another week, another bleak. HOH competition result, that is. After being blindsided by almost everyone, Cameron came out the winner of the Week 6 HOH competition. In this position, you might think Bowie Jane might become his BFF and first hand. But no, Cameron's new best friend was Jared, who put him up last week. And so Cameron told everybody he's gonna put up Jack and Blue, because we didn't suffer enough week 4. What you may find surprising is not even that the nomination ceremony was done with cream pies, because this was a ookie cookie week and I don't have the energy to explain. You'll see. The fun part came when it turned out that Cameron nominated Izzy and Felicia for eviction. America was 11, but she couldn't show it just yet. Now, it seemed like Felicia was Cameron's target and the obvious one to take out, but it wasn't so straightforward, and I can tell you. This chapter is a whole ass wall of text that I can't wait to get over. Izzy hated Cameron. She was a cold bitch and she didn't care. Quickly, through the grapevine, and by that I mean Jared, people got to know Cameron wanted Felicia vetoed so he could put Siri up. To get her out? No, just so she could sit on the block next to her daughter. This put Cameron and Siri directly at odds. Where was America? In the middle, obviously. The Power of Veto competition featured some prizes and punishments, which are kinda stupid but essential to how the week played out. Let's get it out of the way. Jared won the veto. Unbeknownst to Cameron, not so much to most other people, his plans were foiled. Izzy and Cameron got matching onesies, and had to spend a day together, which basically locked them out of doing anything but wishing they they could be doing anything else. Siri and Felicia get stuck for 2 days in a canoe, having to paddle around. This meant Siri had less time to save Izzy by throwing Felicia under the bus, or ship. Also, Matt got to spend a week with Josh Duhamel. Cardboard cutout. Now that Jared no longer had the obstacle in his way, in the form of Siri and Izzy telling him not to spontaneously combust with his own game, he was free to work on his agenda, including, but not limited to, threatening Cameron multiple times, turning blue against pretty much everybody but Siri and Jared, trying to pitch America as a nominee because he thought she was throwing competitions in order to stay in the middle, but maybe if half the competitions weren't like a gym routine, maybe she'd be able to win one. And throwing Izzy under the bus repeatedly to distance himself from her. Jack, not nice of him. She was already invited to Thanksgiving at Siri's house. They were like mother and daughter, like, look at them. But Izzy also took a chance, at the worst time imaginable, and told Corey he'd better give up on America soon, so they can play Big Brother without having to worry about him messing them over. Thanks for inviting me to your sinking ship. I may have to politely decline. Corey notified America of that whole thing, and even if he wasn't gonna do anything about it just yet, America saw the chance and took it. She was not gonna step foot on the ship, just to be the first one thrown right off it.
This is my love language. Flipping the house.
America talked with Cameron and got the ball rolling on what needed to be done. She got Bowie, Matt, and Jag on board, but it wasn't enough to actually make a flip on Easy Come True. But if Matt was to do one thing right, it was mentioning that Siri played in Path to Power. That was that one competition that got Jag back into the house. The question emerged, where would Matt know something like this? He could barely compete in the Week to Power veto competition, but now he's second to Siri? So many questions, so little answers, but so much ammunition. This was also the time Felicia woke up because she had thought she was like Siri's best friend, but all this time she was barely Denzel Washington's sister. So Felicia started Feliciaing, and the rest of the bunch gathered troops.
Ooh, Corey, talk dirty to me. Tell me how we're gonna flip the house.
Cameron got Jack to finally understand Siri's been playing him harder than Reputation Vault tracks when Swifties get their hands on them. And now that Jack wasn't trying to make Family Style Electric Boogaloo Part 2 anymore, he was ready to lock in with Corey and America for real. For real. Finally, there was just one thing left. Directly confront Jared, which America didn't do, but good for her, because instead of losing her hair trying to reason with him, she was living the language of facts and logic. Got Corey and Matt to make Jared look a fool, especially after Jared told Matt he must have not heard them well, which wasn't very nice. Matt is hard of hearing. How could you say something like this to such a nice and proper guy? And somehow Siri was the mediator, because Jared destroyed the remains of their game so bad, she had to stop him from setting the ashes on fire again. And Bowie Jane was there too, yes. Throughout tens of conversations between everyone and anyone, but not Bowie Jane, one thing was obvious. The flip was flipping. At the end of the week, by a vote of 8-1, Izzy was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote.
I vote to evict Izzy.
Week 7 was the beginning of a new chapter. A new chance to start living. Jared won HOH. Jared nominated Corey and America for eviction. But worry not, with someone with any sense by his side, sorry, he ended up targeting Cameron, hoping to backdoor him. After all, it was his fault that Jared lost his sister. America started working on her alliances from scratch. She allied with Blue again, which she then instantly told Jack. Thankfully, for once, Jack was cool with America and even more fine with Cameron leaving. Oh yes, because Jack had won the veto. That's new. He just told them to agree on who's gonna get saved. After a days-long game of no, you, Jack used the veto on Corey. So America, despite still being on the block, was actually living because Cameron was dying because everyone was over him already. Felicia and Siri had a huge fight because Felicia was blindsided by the revelation that she was the actual target the previous week. But Siri was actively grieving a family member's departure, so they only ever had a huge ass fight. In the meantime, Blue got a message from the Nether region. Ironically, even though Siri clocked that tea that Jack was working with America and blamed Felicia for this clocking, it only brought them closer together. Cause, well, with these many bridges burned, who would he be working with? Bowie Jane? People still thought she was working with Cameron because they didn't want him around and they forgot she existed, so they felt like a perfectly logical pairing. But they weren't, so at the end of the week, by a vote of 8-0, Cameron was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote.
Ever since I was a little girl, I've dreamed of living in a house full of lying, manipulating snakes. I want to thank Big Brother and all you house guests, especially Jag.
Oh yeah, and there was a double eviction. So basically a week's worth of Big Brother happened in an hour. Corey won HOH and made the most logical decision, targeting Jared. Blue made the least logical decision and said she'd save him. So Corey put them both up for eviction, even though Sari and Jared were basically like mother and son. Matt won veto. Matt didn't use veto. By a vote of 6-1, Jared was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote.
I vote to evict Jared.
For like 27 minutes, because then Cameron and Jared returned as zombies or whatever. So week 8, nothing happened. But if this was now and America had a free week, she'd surely pick up a book to better her strategy. Behind the Mirror by Taron Armstrong explains the revolution that Big Brother was at its conception and shows the evolution of the American format of the show. Pre-order today for a chance at a signed copy at taronarmstrong.com. America made new moves as she, Corey and Jack made it official with Matt as a group of 4 called Belgium, which is a name nobody ever used afterwards. America and Corey also made something else official. On the side, they started talking with Bo Jane, as they realized she's an actual person, looking for someone to align with. And that's the good news. In other news, Cameron came back to the game.
It's time for America.
Bye.
Before we enter week 9, let's look at the house from the perspective of pairs. There's obviously America Ree, as well as Matt and Jag. Felicia got along with Mimi a lot, while Bo Jane was stuck with Cameron. That left Sari and Blue floating, connected by the fleeting memory of Jared. Week 9 brought a lot of promise. However, what it didn't bring was surprise. Cameron won HOH for the 25th time this season. He focused on getting Felicia out again.
I'm trying to see if you trust me enough to play a game with me. No.
So Felicia and Mimi ended up nominated. Blue still spent her free time on hobbies, such as being against America, but her focus got on making her relationship with Mimi better to pick her up as an ally for later. Which is similar to what Corey and America have been trying to do with Miko for months, but his strategic abilities had been frozen in the pantry until Christmas. Talking about reason for the season, Corey celebrated his birthday and America was living.
Oh my god, come on. Happy birthday!
America assured Mimi 2 times a day that she had the votes to survive, because she did. Cameron won POV because of course he did, then didn't use it. Through a series of unfortunate thought exercises, Felicia convinced herself America was gonna be the replacement nominee.
All you guys are such liars.
Which Mimi took as a sign of hope that her duo had a chance to stay, so she threw America under the bus. Seeing this, Corey and America said, "Forget you, go home, goodbye," and at the end of the week, by a vote of 7-0, Nicole was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time for America's vote.
Mimi.
Week 10 brought an actual surprise. Fucking Bowie Jane became the head of household by answering that a full week took 627 minutes. America was more than fine with this result, as she and Corey had been doing good work with Bowie Jane. She finally got revenge by nominating Sari and Felicia 4 other times they forgot she existed. Jack won the power of veto. Get used to hearing that. Up to this point, and we are at week 10, a woman has won a major competition 3 times. And if you follow closely, you might notice America is also a woman, so statistically it's looking pretty bad for her. Talking about men winning all the time, let's talk about Cameron. Not for too long though, as Bowie Jane decided she's kinda tired of him, as she's got better allies to have like Corey and America. At the end of the week, by a vote of 6-0, Cameron was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time.
Hi, America. You look exquisite.
Week 11, just 3 weeks until the triumphant finish for America, brought some more bad twists, including Invisible HOH, which doesn't sound too bad, yet. The HOH competition was BB Comics, and America beat the previous record, setting a new record for a woman in this competition. For a woman. Pretty much instantly after winning, Jack told everyone, but Blue and Felicia, he's the secret HOH, making Blue his target. You might be thinking, aren't Jack and Blue besties?
A player this good has to be a target eventually, right?
Well, they used to be until Blue threw everyone but Jared under the bus like 20 times in a row. Now America and Corey were in a pretty good position, with Bowie Jane in the middle, between them and Matt and Jack. It seemed like the course of action was getting out Blue, and then coming together with Bowie Jane to take out Matt, and especially Jag, who could win out to the end. With a more even playing field competition-wise, the season could open up again, so the hopes for America were high. The power of veto also got upgraded this week, as there are 2 POVs in play. The first one was won by, that's right, Jag, and the second one was won by Blue. Not too bad, as Felicia was still in contention to be the replacement target. Jag promised to put up Sari as the replacement nominee, so during the power of veto ceremony, Blue vetoed herself, Jag then used the veto on Felicia, and the replacement nominee became Corey and America. That marked the end of the game as America used to know it. Jag and Matt completely turned on her. Corey used the language of facts and logic on them to try to save himself, while America cursed them out.
Literally
off.
She was almost ready to give up her spot, thinking she had completely ruined Corey's chances at winning by being the star of the show that everyone had their eyes on. And so, well, that's why everyone had their eyes on her. But as luck would have it, America's campaigning was actually more successful, so Corey's years of debate preparations compared to America's natural charisma allowed her to prevail in this situation. And by a vote of 5-0, Corey was evicted from the Big Brother house.
It's time.
Corey,
Week 12 was the beginning of a new game for America. Even though the memory of Corey was fresh in her mind, she had to keep it like a picture in her locket at wartime, because it was time for something new to happen. Jag won.
house guests, how many of you have been personally victimized by the Jag Man?
On eviction night, Blue and America were on the block, and by a vote of 4-0, Blue was evicted from the Big Brother house. Oh yeah, there was a double eviction too. With her options dwindling, America entered the double eviction on Lifeline. Bowie Jane became the next HOH, and despite America's hopes that she'd flip on Matt and Jag, that didn't happen. Her next best shot at an ally, Jag, turned on her just last week. Matt? Actually, I don't care about Matt. In the middle of this mess, it was only ironic that Suri was the other one willing to stop the Jag and Matt steamroll from happening. But she wasn't a buff young guy winning every other competition, and neither was America.
Deja vu. Jag, just forget my last speech.
As she sat on the block beside Felicia, the house guests cast their votes. One by one, each of them voted for America to go. And by the end of the double eviction of week 12 of Big Brother 25, America was evicted from the Big Brother house. America made it to 6th place on her original season of Big Brother. Even making it onto the show was a dream come true. As sweet as how far she managed to make it, the more bitter it felt to realize how close she was. She laid low as people around her tripped and fell. She flipped the script on those who found her inconvenient to have around. She always tried to fan out from every situation, but she was never privileged by twists or competitions to even allow her to win that season. As the prophecy says, America still has 0 competition wins. As a character, she provided a lot of flavor and subverted expectations. Even though more than half the cast actively opposed her, it didn't stop her from being real and living, and that's why on my personal rankings, America has a score of 11 out of 10 based on vibes alone. Thank you for watching this video. Thanks to everyone who put up with me while I've been making it for like way too long. Special thanks to these people, who all allowed for this video to happen thanks to their clips and season analysis, and especially Ethanimale, who was the biggest inspiration behind this video. And obviously America and Corey, who are still making content to this day. And for me, well, I guess I'll see you later.